后期是个好人，没看得出来他是个好人的。
It looks more like it's like American 1960s, with its Technicolor effects and that kind of thing. But it's Hong Kong, 1980s, badly dubbed, really long extended fight choreography scenes, and just kind of an apeshit story that goes along with it. And it was an hour and 37 minutes. And I do remember a lot of people in the chat feeling like the movie had gone on for a really long time. And it did feel like a long movie, but I wasn't as looking forward to it to end as other people seem to be. A lot of people seem to feel like it was dragging, but I didn't feel that way at all. Yeah, I loved it. And I loved the bad dubbing too. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of hilarious, this film from Hong Kong where we're not really sure where the dubbing really was matching up with the story in some essential ways. Especially, they decided that to name the two protagonists Joey and Gary. And Joey and Gary are a couple of buddies whose, I guess, the clan they belong to or something like that gets undermined by a plot to overthrow them. I guess it's a feudal era kind of thing. And their head guy gets poisoned, and there's a big battle in a restaurant scene. And I think was it Joey or Gary who went to hell? One of them goes to hell.
Joey went to hell.
Yeah. Okay. Joey goes to hell and sells his soul to the devil to be able to get revenge and get these powers. And it's just really bizarre shit. Like, his powers come in the form of these floating skulls that miniature skulls that he wears on a necklace that then become animated, and once they consume enough blood, become these acrobatic children who run around, these little vampire children who run around and just fuck everybody up. Mm-hmm. And so they go and they do these fights, and the skulls come flying around, and the acrobat children come and start, vampirizing people. But if you're watching this and you're thinking that some of the fight scenes look a little less sophisticated than fight scenes we have now, I would encourage you to look at how long it is between shots on some of these, where you see like no cuts in like a really extended choreographed sequence sometimes, just minutes of like this fighting going on. And then, there's fight scenes that are seem like they're 15 fucking minutes, where they're jumping from one level to the next, landing and balancing on bamboo and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I was just really wondering how much of that they really did in one day. Probably a lot. It seemed like there was a lot of athleticism demanded of the actors in this film. And it was probably some really grueling shoots that they did. And I think if you watch it in that way, you do have a different respect for the fact, that maybe you don't have the excitement of multiple shots, but you kind of have the appreciation of the fact that these guys were really doing all this all at once,
Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.